Hey, welcome to Friday night running through the jungle pick'em show with your boy.
Mhm.
Wait a minute, he's over there. No, wait a minute, he's over here. Justin Lacey and your boy Tim Lyons here. What is up, my brother? You having a good week, or you having a shitty week like me? It's just dragging on and won't ever stop.
A little bit of both. I'm going to actually start off by saying last weekend for me was actually pretty damn good because, okay, let me paraphrase here because we
Hmm.
watched the Bengals and they kind of ruined my weekend from there on that Sunday afternoon. But
Yeah,
last weekend was a great weekend because, daylight savings time, you fall back an hour. And so you actually gain an extra hour if you're going out and about. So I said, you know what? This is a great time to be able to step out, grab a drink or whatnot, hit the casino. I hit the
oh, did you do
casino.
good?
I did well at the casino on the blackjack table, so I was really proud of
Nice.
myself. And I ended up saying, "Man, I'm never lucky when I do any sort of gambling, whether if it's playing the cards, whether if it's playing the slot machine,
Hmm.
sports gambling. I'm never lucky like that.
No.
I don't know, man. That night was one of my good nights, and so I didn't really get caught up into the mess of trying to see how much I can go. Once I got to a solid number that I thought it was going to be profitable for me, I said, I'm walking away, man. I had a great run, and it was a fantastic evening. So that's exactly how my weekend went. As far as the week go, I would say it was kind of like on par with what you said. It just felt like it was just dragging on. It's like,
Yeah.
look, man, can it just get to the weekend already? Next week we got Veterans Day. That's on the Wednesday or the Tuesday for anybody that's going to be off work to kind of show respect to the veterans that served in the military and all that. And so you got that one long lag day between and Monday. Most people are taking that day off. So it's like an extended long weekend period. So we would
Yeah.
just wait to get to this spot here. So, but I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Working a lot, putting in a lot of hours, just doing a lot of work. Just like I told you
Yeah.
earlier, I was busting my ass this morning. And next thing I was like, oh, it's got to be like 10 o'clock. No, it's 7:45 in the morning. I've only been working for
Yeah.
an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, you got to be shitting me, right? So,
Yeah.
but it's just been this time change has kind of screwed me up a little bit. It usually normally
Hmm.
doesn't, but it just
Yeah.
screwed me up.
It's
But anyway,
insane. It's insane, bro. Like, so after daylight saving time happened, the fallback an hour, and it
mhm,
was time to get into the normal operation of the work week. For the
yep,
first couple of days, I was cooking with fish grease. I was up an hour earlier than anticipated. I was making a cup of coffee before I left the house and drunk it, turned on the news to see the weather report, all that stuff. I'm like, I don't
yep.
usually do that in the mornings. Usually I'm just waking up and I just rush, hurry up and go get in the shower and get ready and go get my coffee in the drive-through. But man,
Hmm.
I had a chance to sit down and relax, and then it just all came to a screeching halt because the body finally adjusted to the time change, and then it was like, oh, okay, I guess this riding this high of being a super early morning person is kind of like stopped, and
Yeah.
so now it's just kind of back to reality now, and so yeah, I think I've adjusted now to it, but that is a real thing. Time change is
Hmm.
a real body clock adjustment for you.
Yeah. So, well, hey, thank you everybody for showing up. Austin Arts in the chat. Thank you for showing up as always, buddy. So here we are. We're NFL Pickup Show. If you guys are a loyal listener of Running Through the Jungle, you've seen that we didn't do a roaring reactions. We didn't do a Running Through the Jungle show on Wednesday. Well, we just assumed that since the Bengals defense didn't show up, we didn't have to either. So you know what? Screw it. Here we are. We're
Yeah.
on our NFL Pick'em show. Justin and I are. Justin,
Hmm.
let's just real quick. Let's not spend a lot of time on it because it's already time. You said
Yeah.
it already once. Time and pass. Real quick for me, Bengals defense's disappointment. The
Hmm.
offense went out there, played their ball. I loved what Chase Brown said, and I know there's a lot of people pissed off. The coaches are pissed off that Chase Brown spoke his mind and held the defense accountable. You know what? I give him kudos, man. It's about damn time that as a Cincinnati Bengals fan that we get somebody in there to speak their damn mind. Normally,
Hmm.
we see some of these coaches that'll just go off the hook and be like, no, our defense was shit. They were shit. They did this, they did that. It couldn't make a stop or something. But no, we have Zach Taylor, and Zach Taylor likes to say, well, we'll have to check the tape, or we didn't do something good this week, but we'll have to look at it, and we'll have to look at it, and we'll improve next week and all of that. I'm tired of that shit. I'm
Yeah,
tired of it.
same.
Zach Taylor, he's an offensive minded coach. He's a quarterback coach. If you pay attention to Sick as Hell podcast or Sick podcast by Elise Jesse, she has a great article out there that you guys need to go check out. Just real quick, just Google Zach Taylor culture, and then Elise Jesse. She talked about this 5 years ago. She's right on point. I'm going to give her credit for that. Anyways, I'm not going to dwell on it. Our defense sucks. We lost another game we should have won. Justin, go ahead. Just
Yeah, nah, man. For real, I think my gripe with all of it is that this is very much a disconnected team. And much to the chagrin of what Zach Taylor preached when he first got here as the head coach of the Bengals, he said that we're going to play like a connected team. That means that if offense is down, defense picks up. If defense down, offense picks up. And we expect special teams to do their part as well, too, in picking up. We all supposed to play as a great cohesive unit. And collectively, that also means that when one plays well, the other side plays well, too. The bottom line is I'm just so frustrated within this team just because it seems like there is no accountability that's being held across the board in regard to this defense. Some people want to blame Al Golden. Some people want to blame Zach Taylor. Some people want to stay away from blaming Zach Taylor because the offense is putting up a couple of 40-point games here. Some people are pointing the finger at Duke Tobin, ownership, you name it. But it's like enough with the bullshit wheel of blame. Stop doing that. And then just ultimately just look at it as a center focal piece like, dude, this team is just not good enough. That's where I'm at. This team is simply just not good enough. We knew that this defense was going to be a major work in progress going into the offseason. But overall, it's a very frustrating thing to see that where we are now is what we already foreshadowed and saw way into the beginning of the offseason before anything, the draft free agency even transpired. We even said this team needs safety help. They went out there and did nothing about safety. We said this team needs to have guys opposite Trey Henderson to have a pass rushing help. What you did do was get a guy that has showed you no traits at all. That showed you no production at all in college, and you're drafting him because he had these physique and physical traits, and he does not embody production at all. And you're seeing that unfold into the league. And when I'm talking about Shamar Store, obviously, you're seeing in your draft picks just whiff and whiff and whiff as the games go on. It is starting to prove like that this Bengals organization and the front office, the coaches, that whatever their evaluation process is, they're just not great anymore. It's just bad all the way around. Then there's the accountability that you spoke on about earlier with Chase Brown, just saying that, dude, he's frustrated. I'm with him. That's where I'm at with him too. And the same thing with Jamar Chase. Ain't nobody trying to hear nothing regarding the defensive side, talking about some, oh, well, do stop. Okay. The fact of the matter is this. When the defense had a chance to stare and take accountability in the face after the game was over, nobody freaking stayed and got any questions. They all dipped and dodged and ducked the cameras. That's some really weak ass shit, if you ask me personally. That pisses me off. So I'm like, dude, from that point on, I'm completely out on this team because of that defense doing all of that. And I love the story of Joe Flacco and company, but the defense is basically just ruining it. And that's what makes me mad. That Joe Flacco is having a third career resurgence now with the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's just very much maddening that the defense just really threw sand over top of his resurgence story. And that's very frustrating. But kind of like you, man, the game has already been played. It's just the state of the affairs of where this team is. You look at the upcoming schedule on a radar docket, as much as I talked about, oh man, the Bengals can win this game, dude, I'm sorry, man. I got to be honest. I just do not see where another Bengals win is until like maybe later in the year. And then they do that dead cat bouts to where they win like the last 3 games. And then to convince you that maybe Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin can hang around for another year. Al Golden, they all can probably hang around for another year. And I'm just out on this group altogether, man. Like if I'm Joe Burrow, I'm looking at this team and I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't think I need to come back here. But Joe's a competitor. He'll make that decision how he sees fit. But I'm with you, Tim. I'm ready to move on to this upcoming slate of games in football. The Bengals, thank God, are on the bye week. We ain't got to talk about them in an upcoming game this week.
You know what's funny is just talking about the bye week. I was watching Jay Gruden's pick. He said the Bengals would still lose even though they're on the bye week and they'd give up so many points. it was making me laugh my ass off. I was like, oh man, that's just it is what it is. Yeah, it's hard to do content when we are the state of the Bengals that we are at right now. So, but anyways,
right.
on that note, let's take a quick commercial break. And then we'll get into our NFL Pick'em show, because that's why you guys are here. You're not here to listen to us babble on about the Cincinnati Bengals. You want to do that, you guys catch us on another week. But we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Running Through the Jungle NFL Friday Night Pick'em Show with Justin and me, Tim Lyons. We're so excited to be here, as you guys can see. Just to let you guys know, Justin and I, we haven't been doing bad. I've been doing bad. Actually, you know what? Take that back. Justin's been doing pretty good with his picks. I have not. I have actually dropped. Like at one time, Justin and I were like neck and neck. We were neck and neck. Justin is 41-15 in his picks. I am now 38-18 with my picks. I've these last couple of weeks has just been rough, man. Yeah. It's been hard, but we both started off the week 1-0 because we both picked the Broncos to win. Yeah, so man. That game was just
it was bad, man. It was a bad game.
It was off. Like, I'm trying to find my damn. There it is. There it is. Oh, 10-7. 10-7. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you this right now. You know why? You know how pissed off I am about this game here. So I have Bo Nix and I have Cortland Sutton on my fantasy football teams, and they both single-handedly have lost me this week. I guarantee you, I lose because of my quarterback play last night from Bo Nix. It was awful, and I had this feeling that I should have started Sam Darnold from the Seahawks because I have JSN as well. So I got stacks on stacks, and I was like, no, Bo Nix is projected to, have more points than Sam Darnold. Man, those fantasy football guys, predictor guys, they need fired. But anyways. Like I said, Justin and I are both 1-0 on the week. Justin is kicking my ass 41-15 to my 38-18. We had a good week. We picked some games that we know we lost on, but we picked games that we knew would win. I changed my mind, and I shouldn't have changed my mind when it came to the Bengals and the Browns, or the Bengals and the Bears. Excuse me. I shouldn't have changed my mind. I should have just kept with the damn Bears to win the game, but I was like, no, you know what? I just have a feeling we're going to win this one, but we didn't. But anyways, Justin, what did you think of that shit show last night in Denver with the Raiders and the Broncos?
Yeah, man, I ain't going to lie. I thought that the Raiders were going to pull off the win. I was going to be surprised. And for the most part, I didn't have any interest in watching it, but I still keep it on in the background just to kind of pay attention to it. The Raiders, They got the ball, and then it was a defensive effort, but turnovers were the main story. The Raiders had so many opportunities. They had one interception, one missed field goal, a punt block, and then it was like you also had rattled Bo Nix and company when it came to the passing game, because it seemed like that Bo Nix was seeing ghosts out there, and he just did not look good. That offense looked bad. But the defense of the Broncos, man, that's the story. Like, that's been their story in their MO all year long. They have been killing guys on their defensive side, man. They got talent up and down that side of the ball. And what I really appreciated, because it's exactly what we kind of talked about before starting this pick'em slate here, is that J.K. Dobbins spoke up in the locker room talking as if that the Denver Broncos lost this game, and how much he was really disappointed in that the offensive production is not being up to par, because their defense is the one that's basically carrying them so far, and they have to get it up, meet them up to expectation. It's like, dude, we want to be able to stand together and work hard for them.
Right.
And that was very appreciative, because that's the accountability that I was talking about that we're not seeing from the Cincinnati Bengals, by the way, with their defensive players. Okay. So with that being said, I still like that the Denver Broncos, moving forward down the stretch here, they're still they're close to becoming one of the AFC supremacy teams, but they're not there yet. I still got to see a little bit more. In a couple of weeks, they're going to be playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mhm.
The Chiefs are rolling right now, and that's going to be a big indicator for me if these guys are ready to truly compete for the top spot in the AFC. But as far as like the actual game in itself, I feel like we've reached now at the point to where anything can truly happen. These two are division rivals. They play each other
Yeah.
twice a year. They always give each other fits. Sure, when you look at the spreads and the numbers, the Raiders are an abysmal team. So you would think the Broncos being at home on a short week, Thursday night, they're just going to
Mhm.
roll. And that honestly should have still been the case. But I got to give the Raiders credit too, man. That defense have made life a living hell for Bo Nix and company. Aston
Yep.
Gentry, he has been put on a clinic. He got him a rushing touchdown in this game. The guy is absolutely finally becoming like the guy that fantasy owners and draft experts pointed him out to be the guy. And I really like what I'm seeing from him. I like Brock Bowers. Michael Mayer, unfortunately, he got hands of stone in this game because his ricochet hands that he should have caught ended up being picked off. But you know, it's one of those games where it's like it was an ugly defensive effort slugfest, and the Broncos just came out on top with the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So let's get into it, man. So, like I
Yeah,
said,
for
we're
sure.
1-0 for the year, for the season, or for the week. Excuse me. Let's see here. We have a game at 9:30 in the morning. Is this?
Dude, I thought the over the international games were done, and
Yeah,
then
I
I
thought
saw
so
this one.
too. Is
Yeah,
this in Germany? Is this the game in Germany?
yes, it's
Oh,
the game
Berlin.
in
It's
Germany,
in Berlin.
Berlin,
Okay, yeah,
Germany.
yeah. All right, so you got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Colts.
Hmm.
48. I'll switch back here in a second. 48.5 over under. Six and a
Hmm.
half point game. Both of them are pretty much the away team, and you know, man, the Falcons have been playing like crap. Like there's games they should have been winning, and then the Colts got smacked by the damn Steelers last week.
Hmm.
You know,
I called that one as an upset too, by the way.
I think this is a get right game for the Colts. I'm taking the Colts over the Falcons. You know, even though they're pretty much both the away teams because they're coming into Berlin. I'm gonna pick the Colts. You know, they're 7-2, 3-5 Falcons. Like I said, the Falcons have not been playing good. I know last week Bijan Robinson, he did not have a good game at all. I think he fumbled the ball too last week. But I think the Colts come back and they punch the Falcons in the mouth. Justin, who are you going with?
Um, the only thing I worry for the Indianapolis Colts in this spot here is number one, you're not really at home, even though it
Right.
indicates that you are the home opponent here in this game. But the main thing that I worry about with the Indianapolis Colts is letting Pittsburgh beat you twice.
Yeah.
Everybody had the Colts like favorite to win that game, even though it was on the road in Pittsburgh. I just think that they might be in for a situation where they might lose another game
You
that they
saying this could be
shouldn't
a
lose.
trap game?
This could absolutely be a trap game.
And
Now,
I'm
the
kind of there
Atlanta
with
Falcons,
I'm actually kind of there with you, bro. Like
yeah,
I'm like sitting here looking at this game going, maybe I should have picked the Falcons, but I'll run it with the Colts anyways. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
it's really weird because I don't trust the Falcons whatsoever at all, even though they're
Mm-hmm.
one of the most Jekyll and Hyde teams that you have in all of the sports. One week everybody's looking at them as, oh my gosh, are the Falcons really a threat because they beat the Buffalo Bills at home on Sunday Night Football? And I'm like, and then another week they get blown out by the Carolina Panthers, and I'm like, okay, what is this Falcons team? Now, last week they ended up trotting out Kirk Cousins out there, and he looked like horse shit. So I don't know what I'm getting with this Falcons team, even though I know that they have good pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the defense of the Falcons go, I like some of their young pieces. Now, we already know from, especially as being Bengals fans, they got Jesse Bates, but this ain't even Jesse Bates' best year right now. He's actually not playing up to the par standard that we know Jesse Bates can be. The
And
guy that
Xavier
is
Watt.
really doing that is Xavier Watts.
Yep.
And that's another guy that Bengals fans was clamoring that they should have drafted. Anyways, we're not talking about the Bengals, but we are talking about the Falcons defense that, look, I just still don't know where I'm going to get week to week for them. I think the safe
Mm-hmm.
way for me to go in the direction of this game, predicting it, is the Colts, even though I know that they just lost, but I trust that they will rebound better than what I'm seeing from the Atlanta Falcons. But
Yeah.
again, it's one of those where it's like, first of all, as a betting man, I'm staying away from this game. As I
Yeah.
just don't know. It's too early. Both teams going to have jet lag before they get off the plane and play each other. But I think that the Colts may sneak out of here with a win.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Colts just did a big trade too with the New York Jets
They
and
got
got Sauce
sauce.
Gardner.
They got
So
sauce. Yeah.
is Sauce suiting up this week? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Hey, he better, bro. They gave away 2 first-round draft picks. They said, Sauce, I don't give a damn, bro. You better walk out there wearing that number 1. Look, there's a lot of hype and energy surrounding the Indianapolis Colts. They just
Yeah.
be careful before a letdown here in this spot. But at the end of the day, man, they're trying to win now, man. I got to tip my cap for them. I like what the Colts are doing this year.
Me too. Definitely. And then let's see here. We're going to the Bills versus the Dolphins. Bills are 6-2. Dolphins 2-7. A 9.5-point game. Over under is 50.5. That's your I almost said 10 a.m. game. Your 1 p.m. game. Justin, you know what, buddy? I'm gonna let you go ahead and pick this one. I already know who you're going with. I'm gonna agree with you.
I mean, like, look,
go ahead,
it's
Justin.
Buffalo. It's Buffalo, dude. Like, Josh Allen has a dominating record against the Miami Dolphins. The only loss came in week 3 of 2022. And the game that they lost that time, it was in Miami, actually. And they still could have won that game. So with that being said, the Miami Dolphins, look, I think that they're a poor man's version from what we're seeing with the Bengals right now. They're selling away parts, number one. They just traded Jalen Phillips away. So they were looking to trade off Bradley Chubb as well, too. They got to tear it down and rebuild this whole thing. There's no way in hell that I can pick the Dolphins to win this game. Buffalo, they're back. They just got a big win over at Kansas City, even though it was at home. I don't care. That was a team that shows that, hey, look, if you thought we were slipping, we're not. And I don't expect them to slip up in this spot either. Josh Allen is just too damn dominant against the Miami Dolphins. Tua, on the other hand, he's still erratic. He still can't stop turning the ball over. A lot of weird stuff that happens to them on that Thursday night game, home game at that against Baltimore, to where it's like, really? Y'all look so clumsy. So give me the Buffalo Bills in an easy one here.
Yep, I'm not even going to waste time on it. I agree with you 100%. Buffalo Bills is my pick as well. Let's go to another game. The Browns 2-6 versus the Jets 1-7. It's a 1.5-point game, 37.5 over under. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I'm picking the Jets because, I know the Jets just came to town and whooped our ass. Even though the Browns defense is a hell of a lot better than our defense is. I'm going to say Justin Fields and those guys, they pull off another W, even though, they let Sauce go. I don't know if Garrett Wilson's back or not, but I'm picking the Jets over the Browns just because, you know what? It's the frickin' Browns. I'm picking the Jets. Justin, who are you picking?
Not the Jets. I'm going to Browns because it is the freaking Jets. And see, Tim, you've fallen for it. You've fallen for it like a lot of Bengals fans are going to fall for it. Do not use what they did against the Bengals as a reflection that this is
right.
an uptick of them moving forward. That team is still god-awful. Yep. Justin Fields had one great moment against a horrible, horrendous Bengals defense that is on par to be considered the worst defense in the history of the NFL. And yet now, even though they're at home, they sold off so many parts. They just traded away Quentin Williams. They traded away Sauce Gardner, who didn't even play. I don't even know if Garrett Wilson's still going to be out there playing. They shut down Quentin Williams' brother. He's not even the starter anymore. So I don't even know who their linebackers are. They still got Justin Fields at quarterback that's playing horrendous football. I'm not fooled by that 500-yard total offensive production day that they had. The only thing that I do worry about is Breece Hall, like we mentioned, and when we played the Jets, that he's one of the only guys that can give you some sort of worrisome. But I really like the Browns' defensive front. And we always talk about Myles Garrett, but they got Mason Graham, they got Isaiah McGuire, who actually knows how to rush the passer. There's no in hell I can pick the Jets, even if the Browns' offense is putrid to that day, which it shouldn't be because this Jets defense is not good either. I think that this can be a game that the Browns can steal away and win. And yes, that means that if the Browns win this game and go to 3-6, well, the Bengals will still be third place in the division because of overall division record. But yeah, give me the Browns, man. I don't like Dylan Gabriel either so far, even though I liked him doing his first starting outing. But I think the Browns, man, if they actually make the right calls and make the right moves, man, this will be a team that people don't really want to see down the stretch, man, if the division races get tighter.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you, but I'm still going to pick the Jets. Might as well, screw it, do it.
Yeah.
Next one up, the Giants versus the Bears. Giants are 2-7. Bears are 5-3. Over under is 47.5, and the point spread is 4.5 points. Giants are going into the Bears. We all know what's going on over there in New York. They lost Scatterboo. I think Scatterboo was like their glimmer, their hope. They lost their wide receiver as well. What the hell's his name? Who was that? The rookie from last year. Anyways, he's gone. But I think with Scatterboo gone, that's a lot. That's a lot to lose right there. I'm picking the Bears over the Giants. The Bears are also playing at home, hence probably the reason why they're getting, about that 1.5 point lead, or spread on that. I'm taking the Bears over the Giants, anyways. But anyways, Justin, who are you taking?
I want to take the Giants so bad, just because, again, I'm not fooled by the output production of what they did against the Bengals.
That is not why I picked them, but they're playing against the Jets. That's the reason why I'm picking them.
I want to go with the Giants. And I'm also not fazed by them losing Scatterboo, just because I know that's the morale booster, but you still got Jackson Dart playing pretty solid football too. And I think that what I've seen overall from this unit, from this group, look, man, they're going to be okay. All right. This is a game that the Giants obviously can win, in my opinion, even if it is on the road. It's not like that the Bears' environment is going to be rough for them, or cold weather is going to affect them. They got an outdoor cold Northeast stadium too. Okay, so, but I think that I gotta go with the Chicago Bears in this spot here. I just don't think that I think that what Caleb Williams is going to see is that he's going to see pass rush at his feet like he didn't see against the Bengals. And I just don't think Caleb Williams is good in the pocket. Like, that game against the Bengals for the Bears really opened my eyes to where Caleb Williams haters really came to fold. And I was like, okay, I kind of see what they're talking about here. I don't hate Caleb Williams. I still believe in the ascension of his career at some point. But
I don't like him.
He has absolutely no pocket presence whatsoever. There were times where the Bengals were trying to send pressure and they just wasn't successful anyway. And yet he was just running around in the pocket thinking that he was trying to beat Mahomes and make the magic. And he got lucky dead cat bounce type plays. And that's kind of like what made his footing. I think that Ben Johnson is still creative enough to be able to scheme an offensive production kind of day, even if he were to have a more of a lackluster day this time around against the Giants defense that I like. Abdul Carter, I like Kayvon Thibodeau, and I like Brian Burns. I don't know if he's going to be healthy or whatnot. And you still got Dexter Lawrence that's plug in the middle. So that running game that they had against the Bengals, I don't think it's going to be much of a factor in this game, but I still like them to win. So I'll pick the Bears too, even though I don't want to, but I will.
I get it, bro. I get it. Next up, the Jaguars versus the Texans. 5-3 Jags versus the 3-5 Texans. 1.5 point game. 37.5 over under. I think I saw word that CJ Stroud was not playing on Sunday. I don't even know who's their backup for the Texans.
Davis Mills.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That being said, I'm taking the Jags over the Texans. The Texans just haven't been playing good ball either, even with CJ Stroud at the helm. That defense is just, like, what was it, last week when they got rolled up by the or no, it wasn't last week. The week before, they got rolled on by the Seahawks. The Seahawks beat their ass. And then it just, they're not playing good football. I'm taking the Jags over the Texans. Justin, who are you taking?
I understand that why this is a coin flip game because of obviously the injury to CJ Stroud battling the concussion. But I'm going to go the opposite way, man. I think that I'm going to stick with the Houston Texans in this spot. I'm just not fooled by the record that they put out there. Is because I think that overall, to production of this team, I think you can get away with them yielding turnovers against Jacksonville. Now, Trevor Lawrence has had his moments against the Texans, though, in his career. But I just still don't buy into the Jaguars so far, even with their record indicates that you should buy some stock into them. This team is still undisciplined at times. On defense, they're kind of like not great either. And just because it's not CJ Stroud back there, Davis Mills still has starting experience. And I think that he knows just enough and to be able to run the proper plays, to be able to get Nico Collins the ball, Schultz, the tight end, the ball, handing the ball off to getting the running game involved. And even if it turns into a little bit of a slugfest where they're just not as productive on offense, I do believe that their defense is still good enough to make life hell with Will Anderson Jr. rushing the passer for Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to go with the Texans in kind of an upset, I guess, here. But with this being a division opponents, I'm not going to call it an upset. It's not my upset special. But I will pick them in a coin flip close game to win.
All right, fair enough. I feel like this is how I'm feeling right now, guys. So the way that Justin and I are picking right now, either I'm going to catch up with Justin on the overalls, or I'm going to just start. He's going to start just pulling away. Well, it's kind of like a race. Justin's just going to start pulling away, or I'm going to start catching up. And that's just how I'm feeling about this week so far. I might be wrong. I guess we'll find out next week.
This is the kind of the week how this pick spread is going so far that you could actually catch up, So we got what? Different on 2 of them so far?
2 or 3 so far, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the Patriots versus the Buccaneers. Ooh. Patriots are coming in 7-2 versus the 6-2 Buccaneers. Over under is 48.5. It's 2.5 point game. Justin, bro, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you the honors and trying to convince me on giving me a little heads up of who to pick. I don't know.
I wonder if Tom Brady is going to call this game, being that he played for both teams.
It is.
I would think that this. Yeah, let's click on see if it's. It's
on
CBS.
Game. The CBS game. So no.
Right. Okay. Dang, man. It might be a Nance and Romo game. I don't know, because these are 2 fantastic teams that's playing well this year. By the record, what is indicated. Man, it's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the Bucs in this one. The reason why I'm going with the Bucs is because at some point, I do believe that the Buffalo Bills will make up ground in the AFC and in the AFC East. I'm sorry for that division. And the Patriots, they just keep on winning. And yeah, I saw their slate of schedule, man, and they have an easy schedule. But this is really the one and only other tough game, except for another rematch with Buffalo down the road. This is the only other tough opponent that they have left on their schedule where they may slip up here. It's on the road. It's at even though Tampa, Florida is a warm weather state or whatever, but I think that the Buccaneers are good enough to pull off the win here, and I think their defense is good enough to limit Drake May, and I think that he's been having one heck of a year so far, Drake May, in the second season. But man, it's tough to go against what Baker Mayfield and company's doing as he kind of stake his claim on an MVP award here. This will be one hell of a feather in his cap for Baker if he pulls off the win here, and I think he does. It might not be a pretty game for either one of these 2 teams, but I think it will be a fun game to watch. But yeah, I'll take the Bucs in it. I'll take the Bucs in the win.
You're taking the Bucs. So, they always say if you leave Cleveland, you play better football.
Excellent.
I'm taking the Buccaneers as well because Baker Mayfield, he's been playing great ball. Justin said a little bit ago, he's been playing that MVP type of football. The Patriots are still kind of, they're still young. Mike Vrabel came back to being head coach to the Patriots. Even though they got Vrabel as head coach, but the Buccaneers, they've been playing good ball. They had a good season last year. Baker is just continuously impressing me. I'm taking the Buccaneers as well. I think when you look at the team side by side, the Buccaneers have the better quarterback. They have the better wide receiver with Imuku, whatever that guy's name is from Ohio State, the wide receiver.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah. Egbuka, yeah. I think they have the better wide receiver there. I believe that the Buccaneers have the better running backs as well that can hold on to the football because Stevenson, he's been known to fumble some footballs. I've been saying this a lot.
Hold on, real quick. You brought up running backs, bro. When I think of Patriot running backs, ain't nobody thinking of Ramon J. Stevenson. I think of Travion Hendrickson, the rookie running back from Ohio State. Right. That's the guy that they know that they're going to insert in the lineup. But yeah, I'm with you. Ramon J. Stevenson He got the fumbleitis, bro.
Yeah. So, but that being said, when I'm comparing the offenses, offenses versus offense, I'm picking the Buccaneers over the Patriots all day, every day.
Yeah.
Next game up is the 3-5 Ravens versus the 4-4 Vikings. Vikings just beat the Lions last week. 3.5 point game. Over unders was 48.5. Justin, are you picking the Ratbirds or are you picking the Vikings? Let me hear it.
The public and the national pundits are going to tell you that the Ravens are going to be certain, that they're back because Lamar is healthy, and that he's had a dominating record against NFC opponents. I believe he only has 3 losses against NFC opponents all time. And that the Vikings, that they were lucky to escape a win on the road at the Detroit Lions because the Lions defense is kind of like, not living up to expectations. Well, let me tell you this. I think this will be the trap game for the Ravens. And I'm not saying that as a Bengals fan at all, because obviously I don't believe in the Bengals no more this year either. But I think that the Ravens defense still gives me so many questions. I watched them in their last outing against the Miami Dolphins on that Thursday night game. Sure, people are going to look at the score and think, man, the Ravens just toasted. Oh, the Dolphins are cooked. The Ravens are back. Lamar Jackson throws for 4 touchdowns. He is unstoppable. They're going to miss the mark, in my opinion, going into this week with that thought process. This Minnesota Vikings team, they were struggling in this midseason, but I think that them winning against Detroit, that's the one pick I got wrong last week.
Me too.
I think that J.J. McCarthy is playing better than what people gave him credit for. I just think that, number one, he got hurt. He wasn't playing great early on, like in the first couple of weeks of the year. And then he got hurt, and then he had to sit down and just learn. Well, I think he's learned. And I think that there was no better way to showcase that except for being on the road in a hostile environment such as Detroit, a team that's arguably better than you up and down the roster, and you go in that environment and along with a good defense too, winning that game. I think that with them being at home this time around, I think that they're not going to show any fear with Lamar Jackson coming into town. I still don't like that Ravens defense, even though I think that they got some pieces back and it looks good on paper. They were very lucky to get the turnovers that they did against the Dolphins, because the Dolphins, for whatever criticism that we've been getting on this team, dude, they were still going up and down the field on that team.
Yep.
And they were just some clumsy, stupid stuff that just allowed them to lose that game and basically just let the domino just start rolling from there. A lot of short fields for the Ravens offense. I don't think that's going to happen much in this game. I do think that they're going to get a lot of pressure, the Ravens defense, on against J.J. McCarthy. But I think that McCarthy is probably going to understand that he got to have his wits about him to get the balls to some of his best guys. You got Justin Jefferson there that, look, they've proven, the Ravens secondary proven that they can't cover great receivers like Jamar Chase we see in our division. And now you got Justin Jefferson this time. Justin Jefferson is not used to going against the Ravens, but I think that he will find some production if you just find a way to get him the ball, scheme him open. And they just traded away Jair Alexander, who really ain't done much for him anyway since they acquired him. I still don't know what to think about this overall Ravens defense. They got nice players. They got like nice names, but I don't think that they've came together yet so far. And I think that the Ravens fans understand that. They know what I'm saying when I say that. You got a lot of names on paper. You got a lot of names that individually that you can sort of, you can talk good about. But overall, bro, I still don't trust this defense, and I still don't trust that group overall to be able to be like that on a consistent basis like they were against Miami. So this, I guess, will be my upset special for real. I guess I will take and it's weird because the record doesn't even tell you that, but I guess I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings, man, to pull off the win at home.
Well, is it really an upset, though? Because, the Ravens haven't been playing good football defensively. Who gives a shit? Go ahead, Justin.
I think that the expectation that the national pundits and the public is telling you that they expect the Ravens to basically win a division when it's all said and done, and they expect the Steelers to fall. I don't know, man. I truly don't know if that really is going to be the case now. But I do expect some kind of tight race in the AFC North. But where I'm coming from, why I think this is an upset special, I think that people are really writing off the Vikings now, for real. Like, Even with
Yeah.
them winning last week, I think that you really are seeing some write-offs. And I'm not just saying that because they won last week. Usually when teams got that one big win, they ride this high and all that stuff. And next thing you know, they shit the bed the following week. I don't know if I'm seeing that with this Vikings team, bro. I think that Kevin O'Connell is a really good coach. And I think that
And
he
Brian Flores is a
understands.
good defensive coordinator. Yeah.
Great defensive coordinator / future head coach. So,
Yep.
man, there's a lot of good stuff to be desired for this Vikings group here. I think that some early expectations have cooled down a little bit, but again, I won't be surprised if the Ravens win, obviously. But I'm going to pick the Vikings in a kind of an upset win here for me, though.
Yeah, and, I'm right there with you. I'm picking the Vikings as well because, the Ravens played the Miami Dolphins. Come on, if Lamar Jackson can't go into Miami and punch him in the mouth, with his awful ass defense that he's got on his side of the field, then Lamar Jackson ain't Lamar Jackson. But they're actually going up against the Vikings. The Vikings defense have had some outstanding defensive stance throughout the 8 weeks that they've played. I think this is their 9th game. Yeah, so the 8 weeks that they've played, I'm picking the Vikings all the way. I think the Vikings are going to go in there and show Lamar Jackson, hold on, bro, you ain't back. You ain't back. You just right. You might be getting warmed up, but your team ain't as good as you've had in the past years. And this Ravens team is not like they used to be. So I'm going with the Vikings 100%. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Saints versus the Panthers. Saints 1-8, the Panthers 5-4, 38.5 over under 5.5 point game. Justin, I'm just going to lay it on the line right now. I'm going with the Panthers. I don't care if Andy Dalton's playing or Bryce Young's playing. Man, last week they beat the Packers. The Panthers beat the Packers.
I can't believe
and we
it.
both picked the Packers to win that game too, and they beat the Packers. So guess what? I'm going with the 5-4 Panthers over the 1-8, 1 and whatever the hell Saints. I can't read it because it's so damn small on my screen. It don't matter because the Saints are back to, you know what? The Bengals have a nickname. It's as the Bungles. The Saints have a nickname called the Aints. The Aints are back in town. I'm picking the Panthers over the Aints this Sunday. Justin, who are you going with?
Dude, I can't believe that the Panthers are 5-4 right now.
Right.
Because again, we're so expecting the Panthers to be like this completely garbage team like they have the last few years. But when you look at that record, you're like, damn, they 5-4? How? Like, right. But then you start doing the math and like, oh, damn, yeah. And then they did beat the Green Bay Packers last week in a surprising, stunning defensive effort. I felt like rewatching that game.
Didn't they beat the Cowboys the week before that as well? That we both picked, or that we both picked and we both lost?
Yeah, when they played the Cowboys, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, yeah, this is going to be the Cowboys win. No, bro. Okay, much about the Bengals defense. The Cowboys defense also on a historic pace of being just bad, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to them at some point if they're even playing this week. But no, man, watch this be the week that I picked them because I'm riding knee high in a roller coaster, and then this be the week that the Saints get their second win. But I'm not going to pick the Saints. I'd rather just be wrong about a bad team than be right on a good team. I mean, okay, I don't know what I'm saying like that, but I'd rather be wrong about picking a bad team to lose than be right. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers here too. I just think that this team, Dave Canales, man, like it takes a while to see the fruits of the labor come and develop, but I think that it's happening right now for them, and I believe that Bryce Young is going to play. I do not buy into Andy Dalton playing. He stinks still. I'm glad that I was not one of those retread Bengal fans that was talking about trying to acquire him in a trade when we were dealing with the Jake Browning woes. Andy Dalton was going to be far worse. So let me I'm picking the Panthers to win this game, but I do got this sneaky suspicion that the Saints are going to pull off a win and get their second win of the year. But I'm not going to pick that right now.
All right. Next up are the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. Man, the Seahawks have been playing some great football. I know I'm in Seattle. I've been watching. I always pay attention to the Seahawks. They're kind of my hometown. I root for them, but like I always tell my mother-in-law, if the Seahawks versus the Bengals are playing, I'm rooting for the Bengals all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But anyways, you got the 3-5 Cardinals coming into Seattle and to CenturyLink to the Clink. 6-2 Seahawks. 45.5 over under. 6.5 point game. Justin, I'm just gonna say it real quick. I'm picking the Seahawks. I think even though the Cardinals, beat crappy ass Cowboys team, I don't think that they're gonna do that to the Seahawks. I'm picking the Seahawks. Justin, who are you going with?
Likewise, bro. I mean, look, I've been really impressed with the Cardinals too. I think that Jacoby Brissett has played well, just about
up.
as well as you would expect a backup quarterback would play. To the
Yep.
point now, you got people thinking like, "Oh, should he be starting? Oh, and then can you just go ahead and bench Kyler Murray for the rest of the year?" It's gotten to that point with certain people. I think that's stupid and ridiculous in my opinion. But you know what? I think I'm going to take the Seahawks too, even though I do respect what I've seen from Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. They have a pretty good offense. I like the product that they've put on the field on defense. We saw Walter Nolan go out there and get his first sack as a pro, and his dude has been kind of really developed at exactly what you want a rookie D lineman. I know Bengals fans are sick because he was picked one spot before the Bengals ended up taking and settling and dealing with Shamar Stewart, even though there was way other talent on the board or whatever. Again, we're not talking about that. We'll get to that later on a different day, not today. But I like what the Cardinals' talent is doing so far for this team, and it's fielded them some pretty decent wins and all overall totality in their efforts. But Seattle, man, they're a Super Bowl team now, in my opinion. Yes, even though that does means that Sam Darnold is the quarterback. But I think that Sam Darnold is playing exactly like what you expected him to play, like he did last year. And he has just kind of found new life in that resurgence of their career. This is not the New York Jets Sam Darnold. This is not the Carolina Panthers version of Sam Darnold. Ever since that he got onto the thumb in the microscope under Kevin O'Connell's tutelage, it felt like he became out of this whole thing a new man and a whole new quarterback. Kind of like the ascension of what we saw Baker Mayfield too. But I'm so proud of these guys. Like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, 2018 comrades. And I think that we're finally seeing him become a great quarterback in this league, a really good one at that. So give me the Seahawks, man. I love everything that I've seen with this team. Their weapons on offense. Okay, and I think that people need to calm the hell down on talking about Jackson Smith and Jigma as the best receiver in the league. That title belongs to Jamar Chase and then Justin Jefferson. You can put JSN somewhere in the top 5 if you want to, but just not 1 and 2. Just not 1 and 2.
But JSN is playing some good football. I'm going to be biased here. I'm going to be a little bit biased here. I have him on my fantasy football league, and he's been putting up some play. I'm not saying he's number 1. He might be, he's top
great.
5.
He's great. But I look, even in like it's still too early to tell because he's only in year 2.
Yeah.
This is year 2. Like I think this is year 2 for him.
Year 2.
Okay, Jamar and Justin Jefferson have been very much consistent and on brand from being super highly productive since they got in the league too. So it's like I love the ascension. I love what he's doing. I love what he's developing in. And yes, there are people that's going to just have this recency bias and put him in the top 3 or whatever, and probably play him at 1 for some of those biased Seattle fans or whatever, or those Jamar haters like certain Steeler fans are. But he's not there yet, guys. I think he's well on his way of being considered among the best receiver in the league. He's having a super standout year. But I think it's only a matter of time before Jamar Chase catches him in yards in terms of receiving leader yards wise per category. He's number 1 right now. Jamar's number 2, and I think that you're going to see what I'm talking about as the year unfolds, and I think you guys will understand that. But look, this is not no haters sipping no Kool-Aid of the hatred of JSN at all. I really like this kid.
I do too.
But I also like their overall team. And they also got my one guy that I wish that the Bengals would have drafted. Even though I'm happy with the Maris Mills pick so far. But man, if we could have got Byron Murphy, dude, he would have damn near settled all of our defensive line issues by himself. But that's a long way of saying, yes, I'm obviously going with the Seahawks in this game too.
All right. Next up, the Detroit Lions versus the Washington Commanders. 5-3 Lions, 3-6 Commanders. 8.5 point game, 49.5 over under. As we've seen on the last Commanders game, versus the Seahawks. That was an awful injury by Jaden Daniels. He
Yeah, bro.
dislocated. They saying that he dislocated his elbow, and they're not going to put him on the IR. I don't know, man. The last time I checked, your elbow's not supposed to bend that way. Your arm's not supposed to bend that way at all. It was awful, man. And I felt so sorry for the kid. But anyways, I'm taking the Detroit Lions over the Commanders because the Commanders just have not been playing very good football, even with Jaden Daniels healthy. You know, they're just not playing that football they were playing last year. I think they kind of took a slide down from last year. You know, Detroit got beat by the Vikings last week. You know, I can see them playing a little bit angry, you know, running the football, Jared Goff throwing it to everybody. You know, I'm taking the Detroit Lions just because the Commanders just have not been looking good. Justin, who are you taking, buddy?
Yeah. I mean, for much of the same reasons you said, I'm going to go with the Lions. The Commanders are one more loss away from being that Jim was looking at it as, okay, this is probably a lost season. And it's disappointing because last year they were so good last year. You know, going in the NFC Championship game and Jaden Dale's rookie year, that was the best rookie year that I've seen in a long time. And I think that they win this offseason. They win and push all the chips in. They get them guys like Debo Samuel, make some trades. Got Marshawn Lattimore, who's also dealing with an injury as well too. But you're right, man. Even with Jaden Daniels, they just wasn't playing up to the level that you would expect him to play in this second year. He's kind of taking a step back before even that injury happened. And now that injury does happen. And I think you're going to see that, yeah, they're about one more loss away of just kind of just mailing it in on the year and just say, look, bro, we'll just stick with Marcus Mariota the rest of the way. Even though I think Marcus Mariota is a solid backup and he can kind of field you some wins here and there. But I think that the Detroit Lions, they're angry. They're coming in understanding the mission at hand and that, dude, you got a chance to swipe the NFC North for the third year in a row, and you can't lose ground against the Green Bay Packers because they have a tough game that we're going to talk about here in a moment. But I think the Detroit Lions kind of nabs an easy one. It's really clear of why this is an 8.5 point spread. But even with Jaden Daniels, I still like that number anyways for the Lions to cover all of that.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, I almost called them the St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers, 6-3. 6-2 Rams, 5.5 point game, 49.5 over under. Man, that NFC West is just it's going to be a boat race, man. You got the Seahawks who are 6-2, the Rams 6-2, 49ers 6-3. I know they said Mac Jones was playing again this week versus the Rams. Justin, you know what? I'm not going to give you my pick. Who are you picking for this game?
Bro, this is probably going to be another one of those games. The last two times these two teams played, and down in Santa Clara and over in California, SoFi Stadium, when the Rams was hosting the 49ers. The 49ers won, and that was a Thursday night game as the road team, but that's because they had a lot of their fans traveling in that stadium. You barely heard the Rams fans in that stadium there in SoFi. Well, the 49ers are at home, but I think that the Rams actually get their revenge this time. I think that the calling card – historically, when it's been under Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan, before I even get to the quarterback, Kyle Shanahan has always had Sean McVay's number a little bit, like when it comes to the regular season matchups. But I think that the tide is going to start to shift here, and that lately is going to be some in-season splits between these two teams. The 49ers really should have lost the last time that these two teams met up. It was, again, bonehead decisions
as well. Yep.
And so I do believe that the Rams will get their get back in this game. This team is too damn talented to not get a win against an injury-riddled 49ers team, even though I do like that they're being competitive and staying competitive with winning games with Mac Jones at quarterback. But this is a division foe that has a really great defense. And I still like everything that I see with that defensive unit. They've rebuilt that thing from the studs. And you thought that team was going to be like cheeks after Aaron Darnold retired. But nope. They got Jared Verse. They got Braden Fisk. They got some young corners. They got some stud back. They got some stud pieces in the secondary. And they know how to get after the passer really well. So Mac Jones is going to have his hands full with this one here. Give me the Rams in a win. I wouldn't say a nice, comfortable win, but I will say that they get a really good win out of this one in Santa Clara. Santa Clara in San Francisco. Where is their stadium at? Is it Santa Clara?
I thought it was Isn't it in
I think it's Santa Clara. I think it's
Levi
Santa Clara.
Stadium? It
Levi
might
Stadium
be
should be.
Yeah, I think it is. Hold on. You know what? Now you're making me wonder because I don't want to look like an idiot. Where
Yeah, because I said
is
Santa Clara,
Levi?
thinking that was down south, down in Southern Cal, but that's not. I think it's
They
Northern Cal.
are Santa Clara. They're in Santa Clara. You're right. 100% right. Look at
Got
you.
it. All right.
Look at you. You get 1 point just for that, but it doesn't count towards your win total though. You just get a point. Chris, high five.
I get a brownie point.
But
All right,
yeah,
where you going?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams as well. Puka Nacua was a full participant this week, so Puka's back. The Rams, like you said, they should have won that game. The 49ers have just been kind of, the 49ers are like almost like the Pittsburgh Steelers of the NFC West. They just get that one play, that voodoo mama magic going on over there, and then they're winning these games, and I'm just like, when I pick the 49ers to win, they lose. But then when I don't pick them to win, they win. And I'm like, you know what? This week's going to be different. The Rams are going to get their revenge on the 49ers. The Rams are going to separate themselves from the 49ers, in that NFC West division. I think it's going to be a dogfight between the Rams and the Seahawks. So I'm taking the Rams for this game going into Santa Clara Levi Stadium. Sorry, buddy. I know I have a friend of mine who is a diehard 49ers fan. And you know what? I'm picking the Rams. Next up is the Sunday night football game. The Steelers versus the Chargers. Steelers are 5-3. Chargers are 6-3. 45.5 over under. A 3-point game. I'm sorry, but I'm going to pick this right now. I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Chargers because honestly, these last couple weeks of watching the Chargers play, they should have lost some games. Joe Alt's been hurt as well. Joe Alt is out for the season as well. They're starting left tackle. But Justin Herbert, that offense is just not looking. Yeah, they had that one game where Vidal ran for a shit ton of yards and was looking great. But last week, they looked like crap. They honestly did. They looked like crap to me. They shouldn't have won that game. But I think the Steelers come in to the Chargers, LA, and actually win. And I know I'm picking the Steelers over the Chargers, but I just don't have faith in Justin Herbert in that offense. It's just like, what are they doing? What is that defense doing? Like 1 minute, the defense is playing great. Khalil Mack's getting sacks. They're getting turnovers, batting down balls. But then next, they're like losing game. They're just losing these defensive stands with against teams they shouldn't be losing these defensive stands for. I have no faith in the Chargers at all this week, and I'm picking the Steelers. Justin, who are you going with?
I'm right there with you. I just don't buy into the Chargers. I never did buy into them long term, even though I did give them credit early in the year. But the reason why I'm not going with the Chargers in this game is a lot like what you said. This is that coming back to earth moment for them. And yes, they're at home. I get that. But there's a lot of Steelers fans that's going to travel well for this game, albeit especially that this being particularly Aaron Rodgers potentially last year in the NFL. So you're not going to get the Steelers fans that's traveling well for this game, but you're going to see those Aaron Rodgers supporters that's going to travel well in this game that lives in Southern Cal. Don't forget, Aaron Rodgers is also from Northern California too. So you might see a great deal of those fans to come down to guess what? It's going to turn to another home game atmosphere for Pittsburgh. And I also think that the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is back. They got beat up and criticized early on, but man, have they kind of responded. Last week against the Colts, the red hot Colts. Yeah, they basically just came after Daniel Jones with 5 sacks, 6 turnovers. Like they were just all over the place. And I think that with the injuries that the Chargers have had on this offensive line, the protection is probably going to break down to an extent to the point where, they just want to know how to get after Justin Herbert. And I don't know if he has the throw power to be able to escape this secondary, because this is somewhat of a decent secondary for the Steelers. If you got any chance against the Steelers defense, you better run the ball better. Okay. But the problem is, though, their run defense has gotten a little bit better too in these last couple of weeks. Since that game that they lost against the Bengals and then again against the Packers, they've kind of had a reality check and they had a look in the mirror. And they understood that we need to stop thinking that just because we're wearing the black and gold, that we're just automatically going to just create this aura bomb to where other teams are going to automatically play like shit against us. Now, I think that they've kind of gotten that a little bit underneath from their arms, and they went out there and played some of the best football against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, do I think that they're going to out here and flat out dominate them? No. I still think that much as what you talked about with not trusting Justin Herbert, the Chargers offense, I still do not trust this Aaron Rodgers led defense. I mean, Aaron Rodgers offense for Pittsburgh.
Right.
I still don't know who their wide receiver 2 is. I still don't like him just throwing the only tight ends and then DK Metcalf. Sure, their running game is okay, but it's still not good enough all the time. It was only good against the Bengals because the Bengals defense is the Bengals defense. But at the end of the day, if there's anybody that I feel like that I can trust to really pull off a gritty win in the end, it's Pittsburgh, not the Chargers. Give me the Steelers in a close 2 or 3 point game.
Yeah. All right. And then let's go to Monday Night Football. The Eagles versus the Packers. 6-2 Eagles versus the 5-2-1 Packers. 45.5 over under. It's a 1.5 point game, and they're only getting 1.5 points probably because it's a home game. I'm going to go ahead and shove this over to Justin. Justin, who are you picking, Eagles or the Packers?
Oh, sorry. I guess y'all almost heard me cough through that mic there.
You're fine, bro.
These two teams played twice last year, week 1 in the regular season and again in the playoffs when the Eagles went on to win the Super Bowl. What this tells me is that, because the Packers lost last week, that they're going to probably lose twice again. They do have a tough matchup, and this is the game we were talking about that Lions fans are going to be hoping and praying that the Packers fall this week. Man, but you know what? I think the Eagles got one more loss in them, and I think it's this week. I hate this. I hate to do that to Eagles fans. I'm sorry. And it's going to make you sound like an Eagles hater. But the reason why is because I really like the Packers defense too. I do want to see the Eagles to win and keep kind of like pace with the rest of the big dog supremacy in the NFC. I still think that this does absolutely nothing for their position and their seeding for the playoffs. I still have the Eagles there in the end to the point where they can pretty much just lock up one of the top 2 or 3 seeds or whatever, and then they just call it a day. But I do believe that the Packers are going to be obviously motivated by last week's loss. But I think their defense has just gotten so much better this year as compared to last year. And that defense last year gave the Eagles fits, especially when it came to playoff time. Yeah. By this time in November, you start to see what really everybody's going to be about. And they also got Micah Parsons, who had 0 pressures last week and was pissed off about it. And he knows that is very uncharacteristic of him. So what did that tell me? Well, there's a good chance that means that he's going to put up some decent, solid tackle numbers or a couple of sacks. He's probably got that in him this time around. Even though I love the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, I love Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, you name it. They got one of the best O-lines in football here. But I think, like I said, they got about one more loss, maybe 2, and I think this is a tripping up point for them being on the road against Green Bay and Lambeau.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So I've been looking, watching these Packers very closely every single week. The Packers lost one last week. I'm just like, what the hell's going on? With this upgrade to their defense, Jordan Love's been playing some pretty damn good ball. And then you look at the Eagles. The Eagles, they'll win games, and then they're losing games that they shouldn't be losing. But I still don't have any faith in that Eagles offense. Just Jalen Hurts, to me, I think there's too much drama, too much noise going on in the locker room with A.J. Brown just, being this drama, this Antonio Brown type of wide receiver in the locker room. And it's just causing so much toxic, it's just being so toxic for those guys. But, the Packers did lose last week. We talk about how much we think that the Packers defense is better this year than when they were last year, even though, the Packers gave them fits last year. But I'm going to go against you, Justin. I'm picking the Eagles over the Packers. I know it's a Monday night game. It's not a Thursday night game. Now, if this was a Thursday night game, I'd be picking the Packers over the Eagles. But it's a Monday night football game. I'm picking the Eagles over the Packers. I think the Eagles get it done. I think Saquon is going to actually get the ball, move, get some yards. They're actually going to involve him in their game plan a lot more than what they normally do. But I'm picking the Eagles over the Packers to wrap up.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. And like I said, I could have easily went with the Eagles in this spot too, just because I trust them more, I guess, long term. And again, that's not changing with me. I still do trust the Philadelphia Eagles to basically be there in the end. But kind of like Kansas City Buffalo last week. Now, I did foolishly pick the Chiefs, thinking that they were going to get that monkey off their regular season monkey off their back against Buffalo. But then I kind of reminded myself, the Bills typically get up more for that game in the regular season than the Chiefs do, and they're in Buffalo. So I see why the Bills won that game. But the Chiefs, I know when it comes down to playoff time, when those two teams eventually probably meet again, the Chiefs are probably going to win that one. That's kind of how I feel like with this Eagles-Chiefs game. I'm sorry, Eagles-Packers game.
Packers game, yeah.
I feel like that the Eagles are the Chiefs in this moment, to where I think that you could pick them to win this game. And sure, you won't be surprised if they obviously win this game. But this probably means more to the Green Bay Packers, because Jordan Love still hasn't really beaten the Philadelphia Eagles yet. And I think that will be the indicator and the all tell that, Jordan Love is still good. But I still don't trust that offense of the Packers neither. But when it comes down to if these two teams were to meet up in the playoffs, dude, I ain't picking against the Philadelphia Eagles in that point. Maybe the regular season, here you go, Packers. You can get your 2-point or 3-point win, but I don't like you for the long haul. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, that's the end of the show. Justin, you got any final thoughts for our viewers or listeners?
I'm just glad the Bengals ain't playing. Let's put it that way.
And for me, I'm just going to tell you guys, thank you guys for coming and watching. Make sure you like, you subscribe, share with your friends, download, give 5 stars on 10 stars, however many stars you can give on your podcast platforms. Check us out, share with your friends. Justin mentioned that Veterans Day is coming. Have you thanked a veteran for their service lately? Veterans Day is on Tuesday. So, if you see a veteran, if you see a guy with a, Army, Navy, the old boys with their, their hats on, just go up there and tell them, thank you for your service, sir. I appreciate everything that you did for our country. Other than that, that's another show that we're wrapping up. Thank you guys so much again for watching and listening. Have a great rest of your weekend. Hoo day.